Hello, I'm Kimberly Hauk, the managing editor for Prospecting Today. If you're a real estate agent who wants to learn from the experts how to build a sustainable business, well then make sure you subscribe to the Prospecting Today YouTube channel.
Hey Ted, how you doing? Good. I'm doing very well, thank you. We shot you a little email just a couple of minutes ago. Did you see that where the buyer accepted our offer? The first 3 to 4 months I would listen to Mike and I got surrounded by other people, so I was doing open houses, I was failing, and finally I said, okay, I'm gonna have to get on the telephone. So, at first it was just like doing an hour was brutal of cold calling. I didn't really know anybody, didn't have a sphere of influence, so I just pick up the reverse directory and start calling neighborhoods, talking about listing sales, just general cold calls. So I did that, and I'd work up to 2 to 3 hours a day, but it took time, right? Mm-hmm. And then I had a little bit of success, and then I thought, oh, I got this thing figured out, and then the business kind of leveled off, and I realized I had to really get better at my skills, and really had to put more time into it. Oh, Victoria, it's Hal Sweasey. How are you? Did I catch you in the middle of something? Wonderful. Gosh, I was just thinking about you. I just wanted to touch base because the market's just been going up and up and up. You bought at the perfect time. Did you know that? Right. Well, no, you have to fail. Right? So the only way to learn is to just realize you're going to be horrible and you're going to suck in the beginning, excuse my language, but embrace that and be okay with it. And you have to be able to deal with the pain of being bad and being hung up on and getting poor responses. And then you have to get coaching all the time. I mean, I'm still learning today. Now I have the benefit of helping the people work for me learn how to have the response patterns, how to agree, respond, and know what to say next. But that just takes so much time. So you have to get on the phone, and you have to, if you're starting out, you have to fail. Mm-hmm. Right? You have to be willing to deal with rejection and realize that prospecting comes from, like mining for gold, right? So you got to go through the dirt and you find a little piece, and maybe it's gold you don't know yet. Right? Until you kind of rub it and you go, okay, well that's maybe gold, maybe it's not. And while you're doing that, it's not like you're mad at the dirt because it's not the gold, right? And you don't worry what the response is. That's the problem. The rejection is what kills people. Mm-hmm. And you're not necessarily rejecting you. Now they will a little bit in the beginning because when you're bad, people know you're not listening. They know you're not paying attention, right? So it's really about being able to listen, knowing what to say so that you can pay attention and be responsive. Mm-hmm. Right? Most people don't even know how to respond. Like Mike Ferry, again, my coach for 30 some years, right? Response patterns, knowing to acknowledge someone, Kimberly, it's critical, mm-hmm. right? So again, it's just a matter of, a lot of it is numbers, and as you get through the numbers, you get a little bit more skill and a little bit more success.
Hello everyone. If you like this interview you're watching and you want to see more like this one, make sure you hit the subscribe button for the Prospecting Today YouTube channel.
Boy, it was kind of an accident. I was working for a sales company in the Bay Area after graduating from college here in San Luis Obispo. And a friend of mine who was 15 years older says, hey, why don't you come back to San Luis Obispo? And I've got a small real estate development company. Why don't you come to work for me? And I said, that sounds great. I was making $36,000 a year at my company job with a company car. And he says, I'll pay the same thing. So I did that, and that was in the early 90s. Did that for about a year and a half. And then we had a little recession, and he kind of closed up shop. And I said, uh-oh. So I got my real estate license just kind of, by default, by luck. As he was moving from here in San Luis Obispo back to Idaho, where we grew up, where we knew each other, he said, here's some tapes. I got these from my ex-wife. She never listened to them. Well, there was a guy named Mike Ferry, right? So I got these Mike Ferry tapes because I had no clue what to do. I had a little sales experience, right? So that's how I got those, and that's how I got started in the business. So it was a slow go in the beginning, that's for sure. Oh, hey Steve, it's Hal Sweasey over at Remax Real Estate. I hope you're doing well. Hi, I was just thinking about you because we just closed escrow on the property around the corner there on Woodbridge. That one we listed for $799 and it sold for $819. So as you're probably aware, there's a ton of demand. So if you hear of anybody in the neighborhood that might need help with real estate or is thinking of taking advantage of the market, if you would call me, that would be wonderful. Number's 805. Yeah, okay, Kimberly, hi, it's Hal with Remax. We just sold your neighbor's house over on Balboa. It was the Johnson's house. It had 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Believe it or not, when we listed it for $620, it sold for $650. So I was just wondering who you know that might want to take advantage of a great market like this.
Oh, that's great. Well, what do you think mine would sell for?
Probably something similar. How long have you guys lived at this address?
10 years.
10 years, no kidding. And where did you move from before that?
Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake? Wow. How'd you end up here in San Luis Obispo?
job brought me here.
Oh, so you had a job here. Wonderful. So gosh, Kimberly, if you guys were to move, where would you go next?
Well, we need to stay in the area,
Yeah.
but we're looking at it, and if we sell high, we have to buy high. So I don't know if that's best for us.
Okay. So you'd stay in the area, so would you want something smaller or larger?
Probably a little bit bigger, but
bit
within
bigger.
our price range.
Yeah, good. Okay. So yeah, then it's a matter of pricing, and right now the market prices seem a little bit high, but you know what's not?
What?
The price of money, rock bottom. Now, do you have a loan on your house?
Yes.
You do. And will you get a loan on the next house?
Yes.
And you'll probably be locking in a loan if we do something soon at historically low rates. So would you like to have a nice low payment for 30 years or less if you pay it off?
Sure.
Yeah, so why don't we do this? Let's set up a time to sit down and meet. We'll talk about what your home would sell for and what you can expect to pay for the next house. Would that be helpful?
Of course. So
Yeah.
that seems easy. What would be some of like maybe a sticking point that an agent would hear in a conversation like that?
Well, here's the problem. When you start out, you might have to do that 300 times of people saying no, 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 before you get a yes. Then the question is, are you prepared when you get the yes? Okay, did it feel to you like I was prepared?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And very natural, like you
Right.
weren't following a script.
So that is the practice and the repetition. Okay, that is the key to what will help someone move forward. But you don't get there overnight, right? It just takes the time. Okay, so learning and owning that script is huge. Okay, learning the response patterns is critical. Okay, and then just the nuances. You know, little gestures if you're on the phone. Even if you're on the phone, I practice, nodding my head. You weren't thinking of interviewing anyone else, were you? Right? If you were to move, where would you go next? Yeah. Would you like me to handle it for you? So those little nuances you learn over time.
That help you be a little more natural,
Yeah.
just doing the movements.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, plus, if you said, "Do you like me?" That's incongruent, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So does it make sense so far?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So body movement, the tone of voice, right, is huge. I mean, there's so many things you can learn about human communication that you can't learn it until you just fail a lot. And I'm going to repeat this a lot. You have to just get on the phone, stumble, fumble, and bumble. Okay. Now, can you speed up the process? Absolutely. Okay. By getting good scripts, like, again, this is going to sound like a Mike Ferry commercial, but he's the person who trained me. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Mike Ferry's coaching and training and the people I met. Okay. I mean, you're always at a new level. Okay, so I played college athletics, right? So at a certain level, you need to be coached on certain skills. And then you learn, like I played tennis. Okay, how do I hit the ball over the net? Okay, great. Now how do I hit it over there? Now when I hit it over there, how do I do that when I'm in trouble and the guy's really close? Do I hit it low? Do I hit it high? Right? Where do I place the ball? How's my position moving? And if I'm thinking about any of that, I am lost, right? So part of learning the scripts is it becomes natural, so I don't have to think about it. I can focus on Kimberly, right? And see what she needs and what her concerns are. Her body language is a little uptight. I need to maybe have her relax. Okay, try to put some humor into the situation. All right, but the coaching allows you to get from there to, okay, gosh, now I take 3 listings a month. I'm having trouble keeping up. I can't prospect anymore. So now what? Okay, well, I need to have somebody help me with the thing I'm not good at, which is the paperwork, etc. So now I can get back to what I'm doing. Okay, and now I've got 4 or 5 listings a month, and then I get all these buyers. Now they show buyers I don't have time to list or do my calls. So how do I do that? Oh, you need to train someone to help with the buyer portion of it, right? So as you grow your business, you have other demands. Okay?
Yeah. Do you ever stop prospecting?
No, but the nice thing, 30 years later, is it doesn't take nearly as many calls to do 200 transactions as it did to do 50.
Okay.
Because you get better.
Yeah.
You learn who to call.
And you get name recognition, right?
And of course, if you provide great service, which, Mike Ferry, thank you, because I didn't learn that at the beginning. I would just turn and burn the transactions, okay? So if there's a real estate agent's listing, make sure you do a great job for your clients because they'll be your best salespeople.
So give me an example of the turn and burn. What did that look like for you?
That was more like, I just want to get in, get the listing at a good price so it'll sell, right? And get to the next transaction. Okay. Now it's more about, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're going to put the house on the market. Here's what you can expect. Okay. We'll have agents that want to call you and show the house. When they do, just give us a call once they've shown it, or now we have COVID, so we'll make the arrangements. So here's what you can expect. Okay, good. What you can also expect in today's marketplace, it takes on average only 7 days, and this is May of 2021, so it's a crazy seller's market. If we haven't had an offer in 7 days, that probably means our house is overpriced. So the next conversation will be, if in that first 7 to 10 days we haven't had an offer, we're probably going to have to review that price again. Okay, I think we're in good shape now. Okay, good. We get to day 7, they're going, is it time? Yeah, so you've set their expectations. Okay, what you expect next, now that we reduced the price, we'll have increased showings. Once it's in escrow, here's what you can expect next. Okay, my escrow manager and the escrow company are going to call you. You're going to get this information, and then we're going to be calling you to set up an inspection. Okay, great. Then you have the inspection, what you can expect next. So all those things are just preparing them, because it's like you go to the doctor, you're concerned about your child, your spouse, someone, and they go, okay, we're going to take some tests, and you leave, and you have no idea what's next. Then you have your own expectations. Was he going to call me in a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, right? The doctor should say, the tests will take a couple of days. Okay, so you can relax for a couple of days. Okay, so it's all about conveying that information, setting that up, making sure they don't have any questions. And if you can answer them in advance, you don't get any problems as much as you would if you don't. Okay, but that takes time and skill as well. So the beauty about learning how to prospect is you learn how to speak to people even if you're not doing a transaction with them. Okay, you learn how to be a better presenter when you go to a cocktail party. You're more engaging because you ask good questions. Okay, which is the root of any good script, is great questions. And I just thought I'd see, now that you're in the neighborhood, if you've heard of anyone that might want to take advantage of an amazing market. So right now it's coaching on what to present to my past clients, because they're my best source of business. And I say past clients in sphere of influence. Okay, so now it might be coaching on what can I say to my past clients to provide value to them. Okay, so right now I'm saying, listen, we have a great market. Okay, we have a lot of new construction coming into our area, which we don't have much. That can increase the supply. Okay, if that happens, what could happen to prices? Okay, we have historically low interest rates. Okay, if they go up somewhat, could that affect what happens to housing prices? Could, right? So it's the message is now, you know what, we've got a great market. It could go up, but if it didn't, would you be disappointed? Yeah, because they're thinking of waiting 2 years. If we could move that up, and you had a better chance of getting your retirement type home now at a lower rate in today's prices, whether they go up or down, would you be better off being in that home now? Well, maybe. Okay, so those are just the nuances of guiding someone down that path. I can't make someone sell, but I can show them what the future might look like and say, maybe it makes more sense to do this now than waiting. Maybe it doesn't. Okay, so just little nuances on how to, run your business. So it's, for example, now, okay, I still play like competitive tennis. I don't necessarily have to get a practice on how to hit the backhand. Now it might be more like, okay, I don't move as well as I used to, so I'm going to put this shot over here instead of over there. Okay, so now the business, as it grows, you're probably going to have more people helping you. Okay, so do I need to be a better leader and manager of people? Absolutely. Is that what I signed up for? No. Right. So what am I doing to be a good leader? Okay, to provide a good workplace for the people that that work for me. How to train people to do some of the selling with me. So all that comes with your personal growth. In the beginning, how do I find a deal? Right. Right. It's just how do I find a deal, and that's why prospecting is huge. And that's why most people don't fail. I mean, that's why they do fail, excuse me. Right. They don't succeed and they do fail because they're just afraid to get on the phone. Okay.
And have you found that to be your best lead gen source, is just picking up the phone and dialing?
Yeah. No, I actually, like, for example, Mike would teach, if I have a listing and I sell it, okay, there's a buyer on the other side that I may not have represented. When they buy the house, call them up. Do you have any questions? No? Okay, call them a week later. Have you gotten all the utilities in your name? Do you need to know anything about the neighborhood? A month later, follow up. Next thing you know, they're going to go, if they have real estate questions, I want to be the real estate resource. And their agents most of the time don't follow up. Okay, so we adopt those people. Okay, and so they become another source of business. Okay.
How big's your team now?
So that's a good question. So I've got myself, so I handle most of the listings. Okay, and now I'm up to 4 buyer's agents. Okay, and it's great to coach them because, boy, oh boy, there's so much to learn in the business, and I really enjoy coaching them and just on how to respond and write a good offer and what to say to a buyer when they call in or we reach out to them. Okay, so I got myself, I now have 4 buyer's agents. I have a listing manager, an escrow manager, and a personal assistant. Okay, and then I have one other part-time person that runs and does the errands for me as well. So that's a team today. And so this year we're on track. We're just about to hit 100, and it's May. Right, so this is the earliest we'll hit 100 transactions. So we'll go over 200.
Wow.
So good news is we have an accepted offer. Okay, so can I tell you what to expect next? Great. So we're going to open escrow with Fidelity National Title. If you came to my town and started prospecting, you get a lot of leads because I'm honestly so busy that my prospecting is down. Now I can still do a good business, but if somebody wants to come in and start prospecting, they're going to find people that need to buy and sell. So they're always out there. Okay, so in a seller's market like today, okay, you may have to make a few more calls to get a seller, but once you have a good listing, what's going to happen? It's going to be sold, right? So spend the time up front. Now when the market shifts, okay, and it becomes maybe more of a buyer's market, there may be more people that want to sell, but you have to be a little bit better on your presentation to make sure it's priced right. Okay, so pricing skills are important. They're not so important now.
Yeah, do you feel like it's going to shift to a buyer's market anytime soon?
It's so hard to say. I mean, there's just not enough inventory right now to make a big change. So lots of things could change that. And it really doesn't matter very much, honestly, because, you know, I spent 15 years trying to get 100 transactions, right? And I think right after the 2008-9 recession, 2010 or 11 somewhere, I hit my 100. That's because nobody had to price a property, take a listing. When the market's hot, okay, anybody can help, you know, either find a buyer or sell a house. When it's not, more agents go away than transactions go away.
Do you feel like more agents are about to like go away with just, I mean, because what I keep hearing is it's low inventory. Where's the work?
Well, and that's an interesting perspective. Okay, like in our town, the inventory is as low as it's ever been.
Like, I don't know about you guys, I'm in Salt Lake City, but it's like more agents than listings.
Yeah, absolutely. However, our sales are up 20%. So it's not like there's not inventory, it's just it goes so darn fast, right? There's nothing on the shelves. Like the supermarket, it has no inventory, but they're selling more. How's that possible? Well, as fast as they fill those shelves up, they're going away, right? So it's just so much buyer demand right now. There's a ton of buyer demand. So if the inventory, if there really was a limited supply, we would have a lot less sales.
So if there's so much buyer demand in so many places, it's not like our population exploded. So are we're just not paying attention to the cities that lost everybody, or what is happening?
Yeah, well, I mean, so one thing, COVID, when you're on lockdown, people go, ugh, I'm spending all this time in my house, I don't like my house.
Right, but that should equal listings, right?
That means people are moving.
Yeah.
So real estate, if the prices go up or down, when you're in real estate, it really doesn't matter. If the prices go down, it doesn't matter. I just need people who want to buy and sell. If they go up, it doesn't matter. I just need, those are my customers, so I can do transactions. Now the prices go up, so that's an extra benefit, okay? But I think what's happening in the marketplace right now is just people want to move to different places. They want to upgrade homes, all right? Interest rates are historically low, right? So they can afford way more house. And until recently, they got a great value on the house and the interest rate. Now the prices are up, so maybe not as good, but it's still incredibly affordable. You know, 3% is unbelievable, low, high twos. So interest rates make a big difference. And then again, there's that move to like, okay, I live in a big city now, I'm going to the suburbs. Okay, so we're in a county of 250,000, which is huge geographically. So we're rural compared to San Francisco and Los Angeles. So we get those people, and it doesn't take many. Our people here who live on an acre or two are leaving here and they're going to Utah, Montana, Idaho, Texas, wherever it is, okay? So there's just a lot of movement, okay? And then, gosh, how much interest do you make on your money in the bank?
Not much.
Not much. So you might as well put it in real estate as an investment or a place to purchase. So I think all those things are leading to what's kind of a perfect storm in the real estate market.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And you see it going for a while longer?
For the foreseeable future, I don't think it's going to change. Things change fairly slowly. Yeah, so it takes, we'll see indications like the market shifting, so then we just have to be prepared. And again, the main thing we'll have to make sure we do is just getting that home inspection done, and then there'll be an appraisal that's done, and if all those work out well, we'll be getting to the finish line. But first steps first, and we'll get you that timeline, and then get a time set up for the inspection. I think it's something you have to train for, and you have to learn not to be attached to the outcome, okay? It's interesting because it's hard to force people to do things. Like right now, the biggest challenge I have is maybe getting a seller that just sold their house for a record high price to agree to a buyer in escrow to say, hey, guess what? We found out your sewer line is shot. It's going to cost $10,000 to repair it. And the seller says, well, I'm not going to do that. It's a seller's market. And the buyer goes, well, I don't want to put the sewer line in. So how do I get them to agree, right? So the agreement is critically important. But I think what the key is being able to provide, never disagree with the seller, okay? I don't want to fix it. I wouldn't want to fix it either. We're on the same page, right? We're in alignment, okay? And can I tell you if we don't fix it, what might happen? Well, what do you mean? Here's my concern, okay? If you don't have if the buyer backs out, we have to find a new buyer. Now we tell them it's got a bad sewer line. What do you think that buyer's going to want? They're going to want to have it fixed, okay? So do you want to start over and maybe sell it for less and still have to fix the sewer line? Or do you just want to fix something that you probably would have fixed if you would have known about when you own it? And just present those options to them, okay? Always agree, present options, okay? So that's just one thing that we've learned over time. My brother-in-law, he's a contractor in Maui. He's building a $10 million house. He's got issues with the movers coming in right before the house is done. The owner says, take all your people off the job. And he says, no, I'm not taking them off the job. I'm thinking, whoa. He goes, I can't do that. Have the movers wait. And I would have said, I talked to him afterwards. I go, you always handle it that way? He goes, yeah, I know what's best. I go, I know you know what's best, right? But you got to acknowledge your builder. Have you ever, the owner, right? Have you ever thought, you know what, I can certainly pull them off the job. And I said, Joe, why don't you want to pull your subs off the job to let the movers move the stuff in while you're trying to finish up the outside of the house? He goes, well, they're so busy, they're going to go to another job and be gone for 3 months. So why don't you just tell the seller that, the owner, I should say, right? Hey, I can pull them off. Are you okay waiting 3 months for them to come back and another month to finish? Or should we just have them work around each other for a few days? Give them options, right? But, it's like a doctor, right? You have this little, this lump on your arm. You can leave it if that's what you want. I wouldn't want to take it off either. And if you don't, here's what it can happen. You sure you want to leave it?
Yeah.
Okay. So just learning that, negotiating, asking questions, giving them options. Okay. But my options are very narrow, right?
Yeah.
So in real estate, when I'm pricing a property, for example, right, I know it should sell for about $715, right? So I tell them, listen, here's the comps are anywhere from 7 to 719. Okay, because it's an increasing market. So if the sales are 715, I know we're going to be fine in this market. So the question is, do you guys want to price it at 7 and increase your chance of multiple offer, or test the market 715, 719? Well, they're going to go, okay, I'll test the market. So they're testing a price I know it's going to work, or they'll do it at a lower price, which will certainly get multiple offers. So when we do that, I just don't say, the buyers say it's worth 750, or it's worth 750, or it's worth this number. It looks like it's going to be here. So do you want to put it here and be assured of multiple offers, or do you want to test the market, which is a price it's still going to sell for? That's usually the range I give them. And either way, they're going to be better off.
So you're really just giving the power back to them, even
Always.
though they kind of come back around to what
They always have the power.
Think is best.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's your choices for that little cyst on your arm. Okay. I mean, do you want me to cut it off, or do you want me to saw it off? I mean, those are bad examples. But what I'm saying is, you give them the choice. Right? So now they have the power, but the choice is in that range. Okay, the price isn't between 7 and 8, because 8's a problem. It's 7 to 715 or 720. So
Gotcha.
Choices are key. 8 or 10 years ago, I started creating a once a month or twice a month video, and I tried to make that informative information about the market. Well, hello and welcome to our May 2021 market update. Boy, I got to tell you, this is a crazy, crazy market, and I always like to put things in context. So think back 12 months ago. We were in the middle of a lockdown, right? We didn't know what was going to happen. Stock markets careening, going up and down. Scary to go into a supermarket. Can't find toilet paper. 12 months later, where are we? We have a lot of people who have been vaccinated, okay? I've been fortunate to be one of those, okay? We've got the, economy seems to be humming along on the most part, okay? And now we look at what's happening in real estate. I mean, a year ago, we had people that are afraid to sell their houses, and that'll show up in the market stats, and maybe even look at homes. And so, what does that transition look like? I mean, my gosh, right now, you can get all the toilet paper you want, but you can hardly even find a house. I mean, so that was $500 a month, basically $600 a month for a company I make a 3 or 4 minute video. What I did though, to really make it stick was, rather than just sending it to my 4 friends I had, is building the number of people who got to see that.
Okay. Like a database.
A database. Okay, so Kimberly, if I'm on the phone calling around neighborhoods where we have lots of non-owner occupied property and talking to Kimberly about her property, hey, do you have any plans on selling property? No. If you were to sell, would you 1031 or just cash in? No, I'd probably cash in. When would that be? Well, my kids are still in it. They're going to move next year, maybe next year. Great. Boy, a lot of your neighbors have asked to be updated on the marketplace because small changes in the market have a big impact on your investment. Would you like to be included in those updates? Sure, okay, what's your email? We send it out once a month. So now I've got like 9,000 people that get that video. And then it goes to a lot more because I have people that call me because it gets forwarded around, it's on YouTube, people find it. So that was one of my first marketing expenses. Probably in the last 3 or 4 years, I started spending money with Zillow, who's now a competitor. So I switched off of that. I hired a marketing person now to do the Facebook thing because I have a Facebook page, but I don't go on Facebook, and I have an Instagram deal on that. So I pay that person to like install signs, take photos of my listings, because I used to subcontract all those out. But between all the things, I'm probably spending $6,000 or $7,000 a month easily on marketing.
Okay.
And so let's round it up to 10. So that's 120,000. And based on my income, that's a little less than 10%.
So if you were to move, where do you think you would go next?
Without a doubt, my database, my past clients, my sphere of influence. And I have to say, to get me to the next level, rather than calling just listed, just solds, because in my market, it used to be we'd have 400 or 500 home sales a year, right? So it's small town. In the county, it might be 1,500. Now I think we're up to 2,500 sales and 2,600 agents in the county. Okay.
Wow.
So it's grown, right?
Yeah.
But it's competitive. But there's plenty of business if somebody wants to work. So the best ROI is that database. And what was happening is I would not follow up with my past clients until Mike Ferry kept pounding in my head. Okay. So I would do a better job of following up with them and setting them up for the fact that, hey, I want to do such a good job for you that anybody you know, when you think of real estate, you're going to call me up and say, hey, Hal, my friend's interested in buying or selling. Okay. Then the other thing I did is added to my sphere of influence. So as my kids were going through school, I'd coach their soccer team, or we had PTA, or I'm on a nonprofit board. I would just call them up and say, hey, Kimberly, we're on the board together. I don't know if you know this or not, but I sell real estate for a living. And you're either going to say yes or no. Great. Gosh, do you have somebody in real estate you can count on and trust if you ever have questions or need anything? Well, I mean, our agent. I go, okay, great. I mean, that would be rare. Most of the time it's no. Gosh, do you mind if I touch base from time to time to see if you run across anyone? Great, because I'd love to be your real estate resource. Okay, great. And is it still Kimberly at prospecting.com? Is it okay? Is this your best number? Great, I'll send you a card. And mind if I touch base once in a while? No, hell, that's fine. And even if they have an agent, mind if I touch base from once in a while? No, that's fine, because their other agent isn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how long were you into your career before you started seeing the power of the database?
8, 9 years.
So that's probably something people can learn from. Like start that on
Way
day one.
faster.
Yeah.
Way faster, right? Be approachable, right? Be willing to ask people about themselves, and eventually they're going to ask you about what? Right? You,
Yeah.
right? So be curious, learn to ask good questions, be available, let them know you're happy to be a resource.
Yeah.
Okay?
And how often do you touch base with your sphere of influence?
Once a quarter.
And just a quick phone call, or is it an email?
Yep, it's both. Okay, so if you're in my database, you get the once a month video, and then I'll normally call you once a quarter. And now I've moved to the fact that my assistant is doing more of the touching base with them, and just, it's not even selling. Do you have any questions? Do you need anything? Okay, she'll make 20 phone calls, and if she gets one person that wants to talk to me, that's my new call list.
Right.
So I get to the higher quality calls now. Okay, so
Very efficient.
yeah, so that database, that is your personal gold mine. And
Yeah.
boy, oh boy, that's worth a lot if you treat it with respect and provide value.
And then we'll just connect with you in terms of when we're going to have a home inspection. So Dakota should have that information to you by tomorrow. You'll hear from him. And then as soon as we hear from the home inspector, we'll schedule a time for that to get done.
If you get anything that has a homeowners association, ask your owners for the list of all the neighbors. You got a perfectly good list right there.
Perfect.
Condo complex, PUD, homeowners association, get the list of the owners. Call them, okay? Otherwise, call your best friends, use your cell phone, use your address book, call those people. Just learn a few tricks. So one of them, for example, is, I don't know how long ago, but let's say it takes you 250 phone calls to get a listing, okay? And let's say in your area, your price is $350,000, that's a $10,000 commission, for example, okay? And so you get 250 into 10,000, I don't know what the math is, but there puts a value on every contact. So every time I call somebody, it's 40 bucks, okay? So how often do you want to take 220s and put them in your wallet or your pocket, right? So I would just do that, because you have to develop the fact and you have to develop the habit to get on the phone and prospect, like you develop the habit to brush your teeth. Do you have to think about, should I brush my teeth? Should I do just the top today? Maybe do a little less and do twice tomorrow? Do you do that when you brush your teeth?
No.
I hope not, right? We wouldn't be talking right now. I would be out of the room.
Yeah.
No, same thing, showering. So prospecting has to be a habit. It's just like, this is just what I do. And it takes time to get to that point. Could take 6 months, could take 2 years, right? Are you willing to spend the time to have almost unlimited income? So the key word, compromise. Great market, compromise. If you're thinking of participating in the market, it is a great time. So if you have any questions, call us. It's 8:05. I get up at 4:48. Okay.
4:48.
Okay. I do a little bit of planning. I've got a bad habit that I'm trying to get over. I respond to some emails. I clean up my inbox, right? I review my goals. Okay. I do a little visualizing. I exercise a lot. So every day I'm at a gym or a class or doing something around 6 to 7. 7 o'clock, I might have a role play with one of my buyer's agents who are training and learning. So as I'm driving from the gym to my house, we'll call up and we'll have maybe a little group role play. Okay. I'll shower up, get home, get in the office between 8:15. 2 days a week, I meet with my escrow and listing manager at 8:30 for just a quick huddle. Go over our escrows. Anything I need to know about, anything where I need to step in, hopefully not. Listings, anything we need to know about, we're good for the day. I go hop on the phone by about 9 o'clock. I'm prospecting in an ideal word for 2.5 hours. Around 12 o'clock, I negotiate offers. 1 o'clock, I usually have lunch. And I have a few different meetings during the day, and then I'll have a couple of appointments. And again, renegotiate, make a few calls, and then I'm helping a lot now, right? So I might have to step in and help solve a little bit of problem where I can make the difference. Okay, I've trained my team to handle 99% of everything, but if I can move the needle, like Hal, you know, if you stepped in, I think it would help this buyer get offer a little more money, okay, or it might help put this transaction together that's in escrow, then I do that. So I'm kind of the problem solver, and I'm trying to get somebody to help me with that. But you know, I enjoy getting people from A to B. So, and then my goal this year was to get to 30 hours a week in working. And I'm failing miserably at that goal, but I'm making more money than I ever have. So I'm going to get there, right? And that's what retirement looks like for me. But that's basically my day. Okay. And then I have some emails and stuff. I get a lot of them, which I'm trying to delegate out. And so by 6 o'clock, I'm usually all said and done. My friend that I worked for had to close his business. I got my license in July of 1991. First 6 months, I didn't make a sale. 0. Okay. Second 6 months, I made a couple of sales, but my outflow was way bigger than my income. I was going backwards financially. My wife at the time had a low-paying job. We were just about to have a child. And virtually August into my full second year, I was going, ugh, you know, because I was teaching tennis on the side. I was waiting tables. I was doing everything to try to get real estate to work, and it just wasn't happening very well for me. And so I took started interviewing for jobs. Right, and I got a computer sales job, right, interview, and it would have paid $2,500 a month, and I said that would pay the bills. And I remember I was listening to a motivational tape. I think it was like Tony Robbins, and fortunately I was when we talk about mindset. But I was listening to Tony Robbins. He goes, you know, you can have a life by default or life by choice. And I go, God, do I just want to pay the bills, right? And because you know, I was interviewing for the job. I think they might have hired me. It would have been their mistake, but I made a decision that okay, I'm going to stick with this. Okay, I'm going to get on there. And then I made it through the year, broke even. And the next year I sold 23 homes, made $93,000, which is 3 times more than anything I'd ever made in my life. So that was just like a turning point when you talk about psychology. And that was, you know, a year and a half into the business, and I was this close to going out of the business.
Which so many people are in that position.
Right now.
And so your advice to them is like, do the work to build the sales pipeline, right?
Hang in there, right?
Yeah.
Hang in there, right? If you really, really want to do it, you know, you may have to work extra nights, extra weekends. You may have to do a little something on the side. Get better, hang around great people, stay in there, because if you started any business at zero, why people think they can just jump into real estate and have a successful business, right? If you're going to start a restaurant today, Kimberly, and go, oh yeah, I'm going to start it today, and within 6 months I'll be making 15 grand a month or whatever that is, right? It just is unrealistic, okay? And most people don't realize that it takes time to build a business. Now, I'm a poster child for slow growth, so just so you know, so many people just take off. That was not me. It's easier when you have 10 sales a year or 20 than if you have 1, right? So that's the beauty of being able to do more. And the only way you can do more like that is if you get on that phone or go to the door and start talking to people. Okay, you got to prospect.
If you like the video that you just watched and you want to see more like it, then make sure you subscribe to the Prospecting Today YouTube channel.